Every morning, Daniel Carter arrived at the luxurious headquarters of Sterling. Technology's wearing a gray janitor's uniform. Most employees barely noticed the widowed single father as he quietly polished marble floors and cleaned windows before sunrise. His greatest joy wasn't the job. It was raising his 8-year-old son, Noah, who often waited for him after school. Daniel had once worked as an emergency rescue technician before, choosing a simpler life after his wife passed away. His calm nature and ability to communicate with people made him respected by the maintenance staff, even though executives rarely acknowledged his existence. One afternoon, the building welcomed Billionaire CEO William Sterling and his 12-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily had been profoundly deaf since birth and communicated through sign language. Although she smiled politely, she often felt isolated because very few people around her knew how to communicate with her. During a company charity gala, Lily accidentally wandered away from her father and became frightened by the large crowd. Employees tried speaking to her, but she couldn't hear them. Confused and overwhelmed, tears filled her eyes as people gathered around without knowing how to help. Daniel noticed the frightened girl from across the ballroom. Instead of shouting or rushing toward her, he calmly knelt to her eye level and began communicating using fluent sign language. Lily's frightened expression instantly changed into surprise. For the first time that evening, someone understood her. Daniel gently asked if she was lost and reassured her that her father was looking for her. Lily smiled for the first time all day and happily signed back. Across the room, William Sterling watched in disbelief. None of his executives knew sign language, but the quiet janitor did. As William hurried toward them, he realized the humble single. Dad had just reached his daughter's heart in a way no amount of money ever could. William Sterling rushed across the ballroom and wrapped his daughter, Lily, in a tight embrace. Through sign language, she excitedly explained that the janitor had comforted her when she became scared and helped her find her way back. William turned toward Daniel with gratitude written across his face. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "Very few people outside our family know sign language this well." Daniel smiled modestly and signed directly to Lily. "You're very brave. Never be afraid to ask for help." Lily laughed softly, surprised that someone outside her teachers could communicate with her so naturally. William invited Daniel to join them for dinner after the gala, but Daniel politely declined, explaining that his young son, Noah, was waiting for him at home. As Daniel left the ballroom pushing his cleaning cart, William couldn't stop thinking about the humble janitor who had given his daughter something money never could, a moment where she felt completely understood. The following morning, William quietly asked the Human Resources Department for Daniel's personnel file. Instead of finding an ordinary maintenance worker, he discovered an extraordinary story. Before becoming a janitor, Daniel had spent years as an emergency rescue technician, responding to disasters and saving lives. During that time, he volunteered every weekend at a community center for deaf children, where he learned sign language so he could comfort frightened children during emergencies. After losing his wife to illness, Daniel left the demanding career to spend more time raising his young son alone. Cleaning the Sterling headquarters provided stable hours, allowing him to be present for Noah every afternoon. William sat silently after reading the file, realizing the quiet man everyone ignored had devoted his life to helping others, without expecting recognition. Later that afternoon, William invited Daniel into his executive office. Expecting a discussion about building maintenance, Daniel was surprised when the billionaire stood up and personally shook his hand. "Yesterday," William said, "you didn't just help my daughter, you gave her confidence." He then offered Daniel a new position as Director of Community Outreach, where he would create programs supporting children with hearing disabilities and train employees in basic sign language. Daniel hesitated, worried about balancing the new responsibility with raising Noah. William smiled and replied, "Family comes first. We'll build the schedule around your son." Tears filled Daniel's eyes as he accepted. Outside the office, Lily waited with a bright smile and signed, "Thank you for becoming my friend." Daniel signed back. Friends help each other hear with their hearts. From that moment on, the billionaire's daughter no longer felt alone. And the humble single dad discovered that his greatest gift had never been cleaning buildings. It had always been helping people feel understood. Months later, Sterling Technologies had completely changed. The company that once focused only on profits became known for compassion and inclusion. Daniel's new community program helped hundreds of children with hearing disabilities gain confidence and access better support. Employees across the company learned basic sign language, not because it was required, but because they wanted everyone to feel included. William watched proudly as his daughter Lily became more confident every day. She no longer avoided crowds or felt separated from the world around her. She had found someone who understood her without needing words. One evening, William invited Daniel and his son Noah to a special company celebration. The entire team gathered in the grand hall, where Lily walked onto the stage holding a small gift box. The audience became silent as she signed a message. An interpreter translated her words. "Before I met Daniel, I thought the world was a quiet and lonely place. He showed me that people can listen with their hearts." Daniel looked emotional as Lily handed him a framed drawing she had created. It showed a janitor, a little girl, and a father standing together under a bright sun. At the bottom she had written, "The man who helped me find my voice." William stepped forward and addressed the crowd. He explained that true leadership wasn't measured by wealth, titles, or power. The most valuable person in this building was the one everyone walked past. Without noticing, he said, Daniel reminded us that kindness is the greatest form of success. Everyone applauded as Daniel looked around the room, remembering the days when he quietly cleaned floors while people ignored him. He realized that every small act of kindness had a purpose, even when nobody noticed. Years later, Daniel continued leading programs that changed countless lives. Lily grew into a confident young woman who became an advocate for children with hearing disabilities. William remained one of Daniel's closest friends, and their families stayed connected. Daniel never became famous because of his wealth or achievements. People remembered him because he made others feel seen, valued, and understood. The story of the single dad janitor became a reminder that the quietest people can make the biggest difference. Sometimes the person everyone overlooks is the person who can change the world. Story lesson. True greatness comes from kindness, not status or money. Everyone deserves to be understood, respected, and valued. A small act of compassion can create a lifetime of change.